Jacob Fry's working group, which has too many cooks. Who knows what the broth will end up like. They announced some plans yesterday. It's called the Community Safety Work Group. They ostensibly are in charge of reinventing the police department.
Isn't Nakima, isn't she part of that
She's
group?
a very active part of the group.
Yeah.
They wish to transform policing and add additional officers. They now have a roadmap in the form of a report released yesterday from the city's Community Safety Work Group. It's a 29-page report. It includes recommendations on key areas, including overhauling the police discipline process, strategies for hiring and training officers, and expanding the city's violence prevention efforts. Fry praised the recommendations in a press conference, saying they could change the face of how public safety operates in Minneapolis. This is work that is not just going to sit in a binder on a shelf. This is work that can be carried out. There are 22 people in the group.
Yeah, who are they, Joe?
Well, they've been meeting over the last 7 months, and they include a wide range of community members. It was co-chaired by Dr. Dwayne Davis from Plymouth Congregational Church and civil rights activist and lawyer Nakima Levy Armstrong.
Sure.
At the conference yesterday, Levy Armstrong highlighted the committee's recommendations that MPD creates a new leadership position to liaison with the mayor's office and report to the public on the progress of change, saying filling that position would be key to turning the report's recommendations into reality. Now that the voters went to the polls last November, they gave the mayor some increased authority. We want to see the mayor seize the opportunity in order to implement a lot of these changes that we are recommending, if not all of them, she said. Well, what the mayor was given was new powers. He immediately turned that over to 22 people in the community. So you've got too many people weighing in here. Yeah. Levy Armstrong pointed to the group's list of recommendations for overhauling how the department trains officers, as well as who does the training. When we looked into that field training officer program, what we saw were a lot of gaps and inefficiencies, rubber stamping of the status quo that led to someone like Derek Chauvin being in position of power and authority that he never should have been in, she said. She said the group that found the MPD's discipline process was woefully inadequate to address the ongoing concerns. The report recommends that the city hire a third party to conduct an audit of its discipline process, review past arbitration cases, conduct a reset of disciplinary standards, implement a robust early intervention program, and look closely at how coaching has been used in lieu of discipline. They're all over the map on this thing. Yes?
They're not failing, or they're failing to include one major issue with all of this change and reform and whatnot.
Crime?
No one wants to do the job because of you people.
Right now, we feel there are too many gaps within the system of coaching, and coaching is too often being used as a catch-all for behavior that actually should result in more tangible conduct for officers who violate the law and who violates people's rights. This is still Armstrong, Levy Armstrong. Downtown Council President Steve Kramer presented the group's recommendations on officer recruitment. These included, David Downing's going across the country by car. I just got back from a driving trip to Tucson. This country has space, that's for sure. Saw a lot of it along the way away from the country's tallest buildings. Regarding help wanted ads, here's something I saw repeatedly on billboards. Now hiring law enforcement officers.
Yep.
It's everywhere in the country.
Yep.
It's true in Minneapolis, and they're very concerned about how they will go about this. These are the people that, of course, wanted to defund the police.
Oh, no. They told us they never said that.
What did they say?
No, we didn't say that. Remember what was the guy we used to pick on all the time? Philippe Cunningham.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he was up on stage.
Yeah.
In front of a sign that says defund the police.
Right.
But he never said that, Kenny. He never said that.
Did you see the quotes from this founder and director of the nonprofit A Mother's Love?
I did not.
Her name is Lisa Clemens. She criticized the working group's primary focus on reform, and she brought up what we've always been bringing up. Here's her quote. I went through this whole thing. She's a former police officer holding the reports, she said, It did not tell me anything that's going to be done about the violence that we're suffering through right now in this community.
Well,
She's
good for her.
100% right.
Yep.
And by the way, imagine being someone that may or may not have been interested in possibly becoming a police officer in the city of Minneapolis. If you're on the fence and you see this crap, I'm good. I'm going to go.
No doubt building back MPD is an urgent matter, but realistically, it will take sustained effort over a period of years, Kramer said. This is Steve Kramer of the Downtown Council. We'll be well served to continue to invest now to build that first-in-class recruiting and training program to meet our current challenge and opportunity and to maintain the MPD our community needs over time. And we learned that Levy Armstrong stressed that in her view, communities of color in Minneapolis would benefit from having more police officers as long as those officers have the right values, perspective, and training. And by that, she means if they had her values. We want to feel safe in our own communities. We don't want to have to call 911. But if we do, we want someone who is going to show up at the door, who respects our humanity and who values us as a people, she said. That's not an unreasonable wish. So I think all of these recommendations taken as a whole and implemented effectively will result in a significant change to the way the MPD does business and how we address the rising violence we have to deal with in our city. Well, at least she's acknowledging the rising violence. That's your biggest problem.
But her quote there that you acknowledged was good. They want to be treated with respect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The way she said that is assuming that every single officer in the department is bad.
Right. Well, that's her worldview, and she's not correct in that worldview. But that's the view that she has as a member, as a functioning member of the racial industry. In the industry of racism, you have to presume that police are just generally bad.
All of them, yeah.
And she's not capable of suggesting that, of course, they aren't all bad.
But the arrogance from this entire group, that just they're not even interested in really solving any problems.
Well, Fry had a chance here to grab a gavel and
Yep.
say, "Here's what it's going to
Yep,
be."
and he
Instead,
didn't.
he's a very very soft thinking fellow, and he just turned this over to 22 people and making sure he checked all the boxes to get the right diversity and inclusion and Akima Levy Armstrong. And so what you have here is a porridge created by 22 people. And there's no clarity.
And all of his quotes in this story are just so milquetoast, middle of the road, that don't say anything. There's no one simple quick fix, he said. There's no one for accountability. What we do know is that they are not mutually exclusive. He also said the proposed report, which he's already recommended, will include a neighborhood safety office. And
that ought
he
to get her done.
said many of the recommendations in the report, such as better recruitment, will help curb violent crime.
Remind
as
me,
well.
have they named a permanent replacement for Irredondo?
No.
Okay.
They also want more violence interrupters, but as we know, that has been an inefficient system. Sasha Cotton was the director of the Violence Interrupter Program. They've got millions of dollars, and they haven't interrupted
nobody knows
anything.
Nobody knows how to get a hold
Right,
of them,
they can't
Joe.
be reached. They can't be
Unlisted
reached.
number.
But wait. Joe, you told us about her legacy.
Well, her legacy is failure.
Oh, okay.
Just utter failure. But violence interrupters, that doesn't work. How about you, Fry could have said, look, we're going to arrest bad guys, put them in jail. Prosecutors are going to prosecute them, and they're going to stay in jail. That's our reform.
That seems
That would be our
simple.
reform.
That-
Yeah.
That's why we need Jim Schultz.
Oh, geez. And to think that you can continue to work around this terribly difficult problem with all this boilerplate language of this is a work in progress. This is not going to sit in a binder on a shelf. This is work that can be carried out. We can have violence interrupters and neighborhood liaisons, and we need one more liaison for the liaison. And then that guy will need a liaison, and we'll just keep hiring more people who have no bleeping clue what they're doing. In the meantime, people are continuing to be shot right and left.
Remind me, what exactly is a liaison? Isn't that a person that just runs back and forth?
Yeah, it's a go-between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mayor says this.
Let me run that by him. Let me go. To
The committee
liaison.
says this, Mayor.
Well, I got to go through the liaison. Then the
Mayor,
liaison
the
will take
committee
it to the mayor.
Mayor has committee has the day off. Mayor, what should we do?
And by the way, Minneapolis, remind me who the person that Keith Ellison just endorsed. We talked about it at the end
Mary
of last week.
Moriarty.
Mary Moriarty.
If she gets hold of this situation,
Nobody goes to jail.
it's going from bad to much, much worse.
Well, one of the speeches Fry could have given is, look, all you woke people, crime is not a construct. It's not a construct of white patriarchy. Crime is real. It does harm to people. We're here to stop it. And we don't have leniency for crime just because you believe that leniency is deserved because of skin color, for example. That's utter nonsense. We expect everyone to behave. We expect everyone to not be a criminal. And in the event you perform criminal activity, you're going to be arrested and prosecuted, period.
How the hell can people like Ellison and probably Mary in the future be voted to do a job and then refuse to do it? Do the exact opposite. How does that work out?
Because the people voting for them are not paying attention and in many cases fall for this BS that these are just merely choices. They're not criminal behaviors. No, you're wrong. Crime is crime. But you're married to such wokeness that you can't bring yourself to admonish people. You can't, because that would require you to be judgmental, and you're afraid to be judgmental because that would violate the sensitivity of your constituents. Well, that's too bad. That's just too bad. It's time to crack down on crime. Minneapolis is not in a healthy situation.
That's exactly who I want to see prosecuting crime. Judgmental.
Yeah, judgmental.
Get him in there. Let's go here.
You want to bring back Johnny Heiss?
Why not?